before we do that, we have the guy who sits in the chair and yells at the camera.
Yeah. Good to know I'm known for something. Hello.
The venerable Louis Rossmann. How you
Pleasure
doing
to be
today?
here. Happy anniversary, sir.
Hey, what's going on, man?
I'm okay. Hey,
What's going on, Louis? I'm the
How are you?
Indian Jesus.
Pleasure to meet you.
You go out.
I mean, definitely kind of have to be thankful for Louis as well, because very early on the channel, he was very we got involved. He did a video with us and stuff like that, and he's always been really supportive. Evil, you kind of knew Louis from working on as a personal trainer, right?
Yeah, I thought he was a Mexican day laborer.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And he was fucking his back up on the deadlift, and I was just like trying to speak slowly in English and use hieroglyphics, and he was just like, no. What was the G word that you used to describe yourself, Louis?
I don't remember.
The G word.
You know he does.
Guido.
If he's saying it like that, you know he remembers.
Yes. It took a lot of work to get rid of the Staten Island Italian accent because it's frowned upon in the rest of New York City.
I'm from Jersey, bro. I can hear it immediately.
And the thing is, since I can't say it, I let him say it, because since he's Italian, he can say the word.
That's how this works.
Yeah. According to YouTube, that is how it works. That is exactly how it works.
Wow.
A lot of love for Louis in the comments, Mrs. Evil. So yeah, I met Louis. It turns out he could speak English. It turned out that he also had 450,000 subscribers already. You know what I'm saying? And this was like back in 2017, 2018. Shout outs to Seditionless, the savage extraordinaire. Yeah, so I've known Louis for a good long while, almost 5 years. And so, yeah, Louis is also an integral part of the history of this channel. Gave me a lot of encouragement when I was thinking about creating the channel. And, he put us up on his community tab to encourage people to try to get us, as close to 1,000 as possible. We got like our first 100 subscribers.
Yep.
Because of Louis. So we're not where we are today without Louis and Louis's guy, Sonny. Sonny came in on the back end to get us over, to get us over the hump when we were sitting at like 970, 971, and, using Reddit to do so. So yeah, we, the Louis Rossmann family, Louis Rossmann himself, couldn't do this without you, man.
Thank you. Sonny's a quality troll. I appreciate Sonny.
Oh, yeah. See, they didn't understand the humor. They didn't understand this. They didn't understand this comment, Louis. So just like, you gotta know Sonny.
I guess so. Sunny days ahead. We'll be learning.
Yeah. So Louis, we did a stream with you. In fact, you guys actually met each other before. You knew him more as Lutch. When we did episode 38, we were talking about getting canceled for your dating preferences.
I remember, yes, because you said that you wanted to date women in the dating app, and you're not allowed to say that in 2022.
Yep.
Which
exactly.
It's a very fair. I was listening to the mental gymnastics that the other gentleman on the show was doing.
Shout out to Anarude!
Why you can't state, I would like to date a biological female in this show, and it's like
there's people that I was just watching something last night that, like, it's not good for a video, but I'm gonna do something with it, and it was a bunch of lefty streamers talking about conservatism and the red pill, and I was like, this is amazing to see what they actually think of this, because it's not like just regular lefty people who don't pay attention. These are people who stream and do it for a living. I mean, that don't mean they're smart, but that means they pay attention. And so to hear how they were talking about all this stuff, it was really interesting. And they really do live in their own world. They just don't see reality in the same way, and they have a cursory understanding of what, you know, red pill, masculinity, conservatism, all that. They have a vague idea of what that is, but it's a mere caricature. They have no idea.
Yeah, I just don't want to. If I'm on a dating app and I'm a straight man, I just don't want to see other men. Like, it's just, there are many. It's like, and
How
I
dare
think
you?
the argument there came down to something like it's not nice or it makes them feel excluded or this, that, and the other. And it's, I mean, that's kind of the point. They don't want to go out with you. I mean, to be clear, I wouldn't try to inject myself into a, you know, and if there was a lesbian dating app, I wouldn't try to inject myself into that. It's just kind of like, I don't want to show, if somebody says I'm a female lesbian, I do not want to show up in their dating, like, as one of the dating options, like, because that's just.
And now that's becoming transphobic. Now it's becoming transphobic.
And I, you know, I hope they have a great life. I'd be happy to joke with them at a bar. I'd be happy to work with you. I just don't. They don't want.
You're just not happy to mount them.
Yeah, like and that's 100% cool.
Happy to meet you, just not to mount you.
I actually thought of Dr. Evil and you this morning when I was after reading this horrible Reddit thread a day ago that I was going to do a video on today.
All right, so let's pull it up. I guess the guy here, he's 32-year-old male, girlfriend, 22-year-old female, jokingly called me a creep to all her friends, and I don't find it funny at all. In fact, I'm furious. One of her friends had a birthday party, and after a nice meal at a restaurant, instead of bar hopping, the entire party all went to her friend's apartment to get some drinks and relax there instead. Bunch of couples in this party, so we're just going around talking about how everyone met, and when it's my girlfriend's turn, she jokingly telling everyone how 2 years ago I successfully creeped on her since she was an intern and I had a much more senior role in the company we worked for. She joked that I practically statutory paid her or EPAR'd her.
Yeah, give me my word.
and how we had to sneak around, not just at work, but also from her family. Everyone's drinking and laughing along, but I saw a few people give me a slight side eye. The truth of the matter is, she pursued me aggressively after she started. There was a strong connection there, but I didn't want anything to do with her because I had no intention of dating a 20-year-old student, and also it had a potential to be disastrous for my career if I got fired for screwing around with an intern. And finally, during a happy hour where she showed up at the end of the night after I was already heavily drinking, and she said she was stone cold sober, did we finally hook up after she insisted on coming back to my apartment. Obviously, I didn't tell anyone at the party this while they were laughing along and having a good time. After we left the party, I told her I really wish she wouldn't make jokes like that again, but she kept laughing along, calling me a creep, thinking I'd find it funny. When we got home, she gave me an insincere apology and tried to initiate sex, but that half-ass apology just flattened my penis. Next morning, she promised she wouldn't joke around like that again, and I think I believe her. But I can't help still being mad about this. We've been together for 2 years. I'm not going to break up with her over this, so I don't know why the fuck I'm complaining about this on the internet. TLDR, girlfriend called me a creepy old lecher as a joke in front of all her friends. Feels bad, man. Okay, let's let's go. Let's let Lewis speak his piece here.
I mean, the first thing is everybody in the comments is saying this is what you get for dating a 22-year-old. You're a creep. I mean, you're dating somebody whose brain isn't even formed yet. Of course, they're going to be immature. So there's two things to that. A, let's just take the analogy to anything else like a car. So let's say that I have a car and the car doesn't have the cup holders. Technically, it is not a completed car, but if I drive 20 miles an hour and it blows up, I'm not going to blame that on the cup holder. At the age of 22, you should know that implying that your boyfriend is an artist in a 2023 post-Me Too world is not cool. You have completed college at this point. You have had a job. You have had an internship. You have a bachelor's degree. You understand. You've gotten to a point where I can have the basic expectation of you that you understand how to socialize in public, and that implying that a man you've been in a relationship for 2 years is a predator in front of your friends in a public setting is not cool. Like, this isn't like you know, you're expecting a 5-year-old to not make a joke. You're 22, and the whole like your brain is not fully formed thing really makes me wonder. Are you other people who make those comments allowed to have any expectations whatsoever of women under the age of 25? And the second thing is why, like, I mean, I think a lot of this is his fault for dating somebody for 2 years and not seeing the red flags that they're this type of person. I have a feeling that this is one of those things where, like, again, you have hot blinders on or something where you're willing to date somebody that's absolutely horrific because you're purposely choosing to ignore something. I don't know how you get to the point of being with somebody for 24 months and not realize even once that they're the type of person to do this to you at a party. Like, you suck at picking women. But more important, everybody pointing out that he sucks at picking women is fine. But so many of these comments that are just calling him a piece of crap because he's having expectations of somebody who's 22. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you on that, Cap. What you got?
I mean, I'll be honest. I agree with the principle of what you're saying, but I feel like when you get into that mindset when you're dating someone that's just out of college or around that age, I mean, you kind of reap what you sow in some regards. I'm not approving of the behavior. I mean, she obviously is a very childish person, likes to make some very weird jokes that would probably put you behind bars, probably, or make you lose your job at the very least. But let's just call it what it is too. Dude is literally shitting where he eats. He's dating someone from his work, and I feel like that's not always a good thing, in my opinion, because that could possibly lead to complications down the road. And I don't know. It's just very. I think she's definitely got to be more mature. But if I'm him, and I had a girl making those type of comments, those type of jokes about me, I'd be like, all right, see you later. I don't got time for this foolishness. I don't got time for this childishness. So I think for him as a man, he's got to like grab his sack and be like, later, see you later. I can get other women. I have in a financial situation. I'm very, financially secure. I got other things going on. I don't need to cling on to you to desperation. And that's what that seems like to me on that Reddit post. Like, all women are queens. Like, she treated me like shit, but I'm never gonna leave her. Like, come on, man. Like, that's some fucking self-respect. I guess that's my viewpoint on it.
I don't know if I see it that way. It's I mean, clearly the guy is not saying that he didn't creep on her originally. Like, obviously everybody agrees upon the fact that's how they did get together. So, like,
no, she pursued him aggressively.
Right, but after he was doing whatever, wasn't that the original story that she was? It wasn't that she was lying that he was creeping on her. It's just that she told everybody that he was creeping on her.
No, she aggressively pursued him when he kept saying no, and then one night he was drunk, and then she
actually she should be legally liable if we're gonna looking for equality.
Because I was gonna say, if he's just going after her, that it's just clear that he has no boundaries, and it's not even about the girl. Like, if you're gonna be not being like, if you can't take a joke about whatever, if she's lying and she doesn't respect you and she's lying about that, oh yeah, definitely out of it.
Yeah, no, the part that drives me nuts is where I said, like, I posted a link to this page.
Wait, hold on. Before we get there, I just want everybody to get their thoughts on just the situation before we go into your comments. Sure. What did you think about this story, Lutch?
This one right here?
I'm sorry, this comment here. My girlfriend's father called me a P-file because she's 22 and I'm 36. Completely ruined our 10-year anniversary.
That's hilarious.
That took me out. That took me out. I wanted to kind of give my my thoughts on this. I'm gonna go in a different direction the rest of you guys here. I'm gonna kind of like I'm gonna base my point off of what Lewis said. She's old enough to know the ramifications of making such jokes, because that's why she made the joke. The joke is relevant because she knows how this kind of thing is looked upon. And so I think that he was already pretty sensitive about it. I would not be surprised if she, acted mature throughout all of this. But then, dropped the ball on this one and could not see why it was such a big deal on the back end. But the thing is that I would not be inclined to break up with somebody over what she did. I would be more inclined to break up with her over her response to it. Now, I've already made it very clear, and women talk a lot about their boundaries and how important it is for us to adhere to their boundaries and consent and enthusiastic consent. We hear about it a lot. But when a guy says, hey, you're crossing my boundaries, they just laugh it off and everybody's supposed to just accept it.
Yep.
And I think that maybe could have done a better job in explaining to her why it's such a sensitive issue, because women, obviously she can make jokes like this because women don't have this kind of scrutiny placed upon them. She was a legal age woman who pursued him, and he's still worrying about being canceled because people are going to forget all of the facts and just say, well, you're this age, she's that age, and that's the end of it. And, you know, if you're not out there trying to date a 50-year-old single mom of 7, then you're a bad person, no matter how it's being construed. For example, you have these old women like, you know, who are the old women dating these super young guys? Women over the age of 50 dating guys in their mid and early 20s.
Madonna,
I guess.
Right.
Yeah,
you know, nobody is calling them disgusting, but let Leonardo DiCaprio choose a woman of the majority age that he prefers, and we're going to keep trying to push the narrative that he's some sort of criminal. So at age 22, it is incumbent upon her to know that you can't make jokes like this in this you just can't do it, and I find it unacceptable. And the first thing she should have said is, "Wow, I got to realize that this can affect you more than it's going to affect me." So she's not very considerate, and I require that of the women that I deal with. And that could be just casually, serious relationship. I need you to be considerate and honor my boundaries. Otherwise, I can't fuck with you.
I hear that. Looking at it again, because I dropped out in the middle.
Okay.
I thought that my whole thing is not doing well. But you know, I'm still thinking, like, you know, if they're joking about like, oh, it was basically statutory RPay. Like, there's a lot of ways that joke could come out. Like, just the fact that you are older and she does work with you, that I could see that being, you know, like a not out of bounds joke. It's just among friends. Like, if she wasn't saying like, oh, he did this and he was doing that and he was doing that, and it's like, or if it was just like a throwaway, like, it's like he statutoried me, and then he was getting all hurt over that and couldn't in the moment say like, oh, that's just a joke, and then later go to her and be like, look, I know you were just joking, I know it's whatever, but in this day and age, you can't be making jokes like that. That's what I need to know. What the actual joke was like. Like, was she trying to convince her friends that was really what happened, or was it just a throwaway joke?
Well, this line right here. This line lets me know that when he brought it to her in the spirit of what you just mentioned. This line right here.
But
I really wish you wouldn't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's trying to let her down easy, like, hey, this is a sensitive thing. Can we not go there?
But again, that's again the second, it goes hand in hand. So if originally it was a throwaway joke and he's like whining and bitching, we already said that she's not going to have the understanding of the severity of that kind of joke. And so it's his responsibility to be like, no, look, like, I get that you're just teasing me, but like, you know, we can't joke about that. And so the level of teasing could have been, he could be seen to be bitching out because of the level of teasing, not understanding that she doesn't see that it's not about the level of teasing, it's about the topic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, you know, it's like, like every girlfriend I've ever had has made fun of me for being short. Like, that's whatever. And I can get mad about it, or I can not get mad about it. I can play along or whatever. But depending on the level of teasing, that's all it's about, because being short is whatever. And if I was to get like super butthurt over, like, you know, just a throwaway joke, and then later I wanted to talk about that throwaway joke, I could understand why she's like, oh my God, we get over it.
Right. Yeah,
But with
I
this,
definitely get that.
there's not that as much room for like you can't play. You can't play.
I mean, listen. I think there's a difference between you being have the ability to go on the teacup ride in Disney World, and like someone saying that you're essentially a statuary e-pard. I mean, I can get why he's kind of aggravated.
Again, and I agree with you, but the amount of blame that we place on her for not understanding is dependent on him. It's still his responsibility to say the thank you, Dan. It's still incumbent on him to express himself in a way that she can respect. And clearly he hasn't done that. Whether that's her fault because she's a bitch or because he's just a weak little beta, that's definitely the issue of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, like, he really needs to be able to leave. Like, I had one situation like this back 6 years ago in 2017. I was dating an engineer, and there was some Richard Stallman joke about being pedantic about something that was going on. So I started reading that famous Richard Stallman copy pasta. Allow me to interject. What you're referring to as Linux is actually GNU Linux. And like, like I expected, since you're a computer science engineer, you would have seen this copy pasta at some point in your life or seen this joke. And she starts yelling. She actually thought it was 100% serious, even though I was using it in that voice. And she thought that she said, "Why are you mansplaining to me?" In like the most aggravated voice possible. No, I'm never gonna forget this shit. And we're in an underground train station, and I see people start looking at me. So I looked at her and I said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your lunch. Have a great day. And I didn't get mad. My face didn't turn red. I wasn't yelling. It's just, I have a standard for how I will be treated. I do not yell at the people that I am with in public. I don't embarrass them in public. If you wish to do that, find a new dude. And like, to this day, 6 years later, I will occasionally get texts saying, "Hey, I'm in my 30s and lonely, and you want to try again, or maybe we should try again." And it's like, no, because you're a horrible person. I'm not going to do that. And Dr. Evil knows that every now and then certain trip ups may be made, but there's no chance of me having a relationship with this person.
Oh, that's her.
In spite of their appearance.
I didn't know she was an engineer.
Yeah, but that's.
I thought she was stupid.
You could be a stupid engineer, man. But the point is, like, when this person says over here, like, after we left the party, I told her I really wish she wouldn't. It's like, no, you leave. You're
right.
Like, hey, listen, that's not how. This is not. I said maybe something like, this isn't how I remember that happening. Enjoy teaching revisionist history. Have a great evening, everybody. And you have a smile on your face, and then you leave. Like, that's it. You don't just stand there and take it, or like say later on, like, like. And then there was one person that said, "Well, you shouldn't blow up. It's well-adjusted people don't just have meltdowns and leave." He could have laughed and told the real story back. And it's like, then you're accepting the premise that you need to defend yourself against being called an ARPist. Like, I'm not going to accept your premise. If I start defending myself, then it seems like I have something to defend. I would just say, that's not what I remember happening, but enjoy your revisionist history. Have a great evening, everybody. Pleasure meeting you all. And then I leave. And then I never see you again. Like, why can't people have healthy boundaries for how they're treated? You teach other people how to treat you. And God knows I've learned throughout my life the hard way, when I teach people to treat me the wrong way, what happens. Like,
absolutely.
Teach people how to treat.
We'll do it.
Dude, can you go through your original? I want you to kind of go through more of this here, because there's a lot of gold here. But I gotta say, Lewis, especially since we have God's son, the Indian Jesus here. Amen. Amen. Let us pray. Lewis, please.
No, it says, you don't tell her you really wish she hadn't, you leave. So let's say somebody thinks you're insensitive or you're not funny. Who cares? I mean, people think it's either you sit there and you just get owned and simp, or you have to like yell and scream and show you're an alpha and yell. And it's like, no, you don't. You just look everybody, have a nice smile. Pleasure meeting you all. Lovely. Have a great evening. That's not what I remember happening. Enjoy your revisionist history. And you leave. Like, you can still be a class act and leave that situation. And she doesn't understand any of what pissed you off at all. She doesn't want you to have self-respect. Like, I've made jokes around women that I've been with. Like, I made fun of an ex because she would always pronounce Manhattan with a bunch of T's. Like, there are small things that we joke about. I don't joke about the fact that, like, she would say Kit-tin or Manhattan, and it was kind of funny. But that's different than saying that you're a predator. Implying you're a predator in a post-Me Too world is not funny. you know, and he said, we've been together for 2 years. I'm not going to break up with her over this. And it's like, why? Why would you not break up with somebody you've been with for 2 years who humiliates you in public in front of your friends in the worst possible way, in a way that can destroy your reputation permanently for the rest of your life, and not care if it hurts you? Where is this going? What, are you going to have a kid with the person that implies that you're a predator to everybody and continues laughing at it and sees nothing wrong with it? This is going to be the mother of your kids, really?
Yep.
No.
I have a friend who's going through this exact same thing. And like, I was one of these types of dudes before I understood like what I understand, before I understood women. And it's just this, it's hard to see because this dude's got this long distance girlfriend who has a bunch of mental health issues, who always is treating him like crap, hot and cold. I'm like, dude, get out. Like, what are you doing? There is no upside here. And he's just like, well, I think we could do this and we could work. I'm like, okay, maybe it could. So what? You're a good looking dude. You got money. You got skills. Like, why are you wasting your time here? And it's the scarcity mindset that it's like, well, maybe this could be, maybe this will get better, and maybe it'll do this. Maybe it will, but probably it won't. I just wish that.
If you post a picture of him and you post a picture of her, I have a feeling that they would explain the entire situation.
Oh yeah, he's definitely
1,000 words.
Yeah, he definitely looks like a middle manager, and she definitely looks like a chick that gets way too much money on OnlyFans.
I don't know. I don't even know what she looks like, but he looks like a preppy
lobbyist. It was a pleasure meeting you all. Thank you so much for having me on. I got to get going.
Thank you, Lewis.
Take care, Lewis.
All right, bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Yeah, we're gonna pass the baton here because I think I think that Lewis had a lot to offer here to the conversation. He says I've made jokes around friends about the woman that I'm in a relationship with, but it's about stuff like pronunciation of a word or poking fun at a hobby, not making her character out to be a pervert during a time period where this type of accusation can destroy one's reputation, livelihood, and freedom. Because people have been falsely accused of stuff, and they go to stand trial and they get assaulted and are wiped off the census, and then it's found out after they didn't do whatever it was claimed that they did. But certain people who have done certain things in prison believe that they have the moral high road because they committed one heinous crime, but they didn't commit the so-called heinous crime. So they think that they're morally superior over you, so they can kill you. But it's like, wait. But I didn't even do it, and I'm already being assaulted and or wiped off the census. And you think that this is a funny joke?
I mean, I think when it kind of comes down to it, a lot of guys do not have the self-respect needed, and they don't have the right judgment needed to just get out of a situation. Some guys will just sit there and take it like a battered wife syndrome type shit, where they'll continually be treated like shit, continually be degraded, continually be emasculated in a way. And instead of just kind of standing up for yourself and allowing yourself to be treated with some goddamn self-respect, like this guy is just gonna kind of take it. And we don't know every single particular of this relationship. Maybe this was a one-off thing. Maybe this was just really a bad night. But even making that joke, like, that could destroy your reputation. Because, like, let's say you get married, and then, or let's say you get in a relationship with her, which she's been with 2 years, and let's say it breaks off. She's probably the same chick that would go around the office being like, yeah, he really used that as a power imbalance, right? Like he really used his position of power to start a relationship, yada, yada, yada. Like that's what it's just under, that's what it's given the pretense for me. I'm under the assumption that that's how she would act. Like, you're talking to the same dude who had one chick knock on the door while we're on a date. I'm taking a dump, and she's like, oh, "What are you doing in there?" I'm like, "Well, what do you think?" I said, I'm digging for gold. What the fuck do you think? And she got upset that I took a shit in the toilet, and when she had a really visceral reaction to me, like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it," I was like, "All right, see you later." Like, I really don't need to be tapping that. If you are can't take me handling my bodily functions, just have some self-respect. And find people that are going to treat you for you. And, like, to be blunt, dating a 22-year-old, in my opinion, right? because we've seen it on various different other shows where you have these young women, and I'm not like, not every single person, human being is the same, but I would never date a 22-year-old. The level of intellect and the level of maturity is usually just not there, right? Some people say, oh, because the brain isn't formed at 25, but like, dude, when I would me right now, would I want to date, like, would a woman want to date like a 30-year-old woman, or a late 21 want to date like a young 22 me? No, because we just have different mindsets, different goals at that time. I don't know. He's 30. How old was he? 32. I mean, I don't know.
36.
36. Why in the fuck are we bothering dating somebody that fucking young? Because that's the expectation for them to act childish. In my
32,
opinion.
excuse me, 32,
Yeah.
22,
32.
and it was 30 and 20 when they got together. Sorry.
It's just like, I'm not really surprised, and I'm not saying you have to, date at the senior home, but date with somebody, I think 25 plus. They have some life experience. They've been through some things.
No,
and,
you don't want that. You don't want a chick that's been through a whole bunch of shit.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Clean it up.
This guy needs somebody who he needs to be the beta in this the relationship where that will work. Where the girl already knows that she doesn't want to spoil having a beta. He wants somebody who's an alpha widow, so that he can be that beta guy. Because if he's with like the type of dude that wants to be with a young girl is that not like a younger, but a younger woman.
Yeah.
Is somebody who understands that they're going to have to step into a leadership role. If you're not willing to do that, then that, having a young hot thing that's 23, 24 is not going to work out. So go the other way.
Yeah,
or die alone. Buy a dog, die alone. What do you want from me?
I get what you're saying, Evil, in some aspects, and we kind of disagree with some of the like prime yada 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 stuff like that when it comes to women.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I'm just looking for a level of maturity where I can actually have a conversation with you. I don't want to be dating somebody that like is like, oh my god, like I'm good, I'm all set. Like if I wanted to, if I wanted to speak with somebody with a lack of intellect, I could go through Reddit like Lewis does. I'm not looking for that in a relationship. I'm looking for some actual tangible, tangible relationship that will work through a long period of time. Because when you were trying to, like, in my opinion, relationships overall, you're starting a family, right? Like that's someone you're trying to envision yourself down the road starting a family with. I don't feel like, having the mother of my children be a fucking mouth breather. Like I want to have some sense of. Go ahead.
And on that point, it's actually like the more in tune you are with someone, the less like when people say that, like I want somebody I can actually have a conversation with. It sounds like, at least when I say it, it sounds to other people like I want a debate partner that we can always get into these issues. It's actually the complete opposite. I debate with people so often because y'all are so dumb. No, I'm just kidding. But it's like when somebody gets you, then it's like, yeah, like that, right, yeah. You know what I mean? Like you have your shorthand because you get it. You get what I'm trying to do. I'm setting up things in a certain way. Like, oh, I see what you're doing, or I don't see what you're doing, but I trust that you see what you're doing. And so, what are you doing over there? Why aren't you putting it like that? Like because I never thought about it like that way. Like it's not about the debate part of it. It's about the understanding.